Hello there guys, and welcome to this week's edition of M&A TV.
Now this is the final episode of this season.
So let's take a look at what we've got coming in this week's show.
Chris takes her final walk down Ghostly Lane.
Fran takes us into her world of crystals and tarot.
And later on, myself and Jodie will be revealing a brand new competition.
Going to enjoy that.
Oh, I don't know what's coming up first.
Neither do I. So let's just play.
Welcome back to our journey down Ghostly Lane. This is our final stop on our journey. We stop at our investigation at Acton Burnell Castle. After Shell and Jodie having done a day investigation, we come here at night and we don't waste time. We're straight into DVR with a bit of live Q&A to see if we can get some responses on the moment. But in looking around, the cameraman misses something in the archway, which I am soon to point out. Looking up at the corner, I see something. Shadow figures, multiple, moving from left to right. We try to catch it, but we don't. In our video, the audio isn't that great, but it still captures the feel of this place in the waning hours of the evening. It captures the creepy spirit of this place. As you can see, DVR in hand, I'm trying to speak to someone who I feel is right there. I couldn't have known just how right I was, but I would soon learn. Or rather, Shell would learn just who was there. Before we could get this epic response and harrowing event, we would attempt question after question and try to get something to respond. Sometimes we feel something coming through, other times there's complete silence. But for all our attempts on the DVR, it doesn't take away from the feel of this place. Like we were being watched from several angles all at once. It didn't take away from the feeling that we were surrounded. It didn't stop me feeling anxious. After the EVP session that doesn't quite go to plan, I stopped to explain to the camera and my colleagues just what I saw during the session, pointing out where it come from and what had happened. Not really certain myself what I saw, I can only try and piece together from the corner of my eye what I observed, where and how fast it happened. And as I finish, I feel the need to communicate directly assuring the spirits that we're there in a spirit of peace and goodwill, there to communicate and learn, that we weren't there to harm them or disrespect them. I continue to try to communicate, to try and build some sort of energy and activity, to see if I can draw them out, draw them in to some sort of interaction. And to be honest, it didn't work immediately, but it did later on. Night has now fallen, so we switched to IR. It's time to kick things up a notch and see if we can't get some sort of interaction and some results. The K2 is cracked out and placed on a surface where we've had some suspicious feelings, and we tried to continue with the DVR. We weren't getting much luck before, but right now it wouldn't take long before the harrowing event would occur and I would get my response. As we continue to look around and see and experience things for ourselves without recording it, we would continue our questions in an attempt to draw them out. Would it work? We'd soon find out. The moment is here. After a strange noise and attempting to get the spirit to interact with the K2 at the entrance, Shell stops our line of questioning to tell us that something had just touched her. Physical contact with her head. It was unbelievable. And what was more surprising is that this event followed a strange noise that the camera recorded, like some sort of physical contact with the rig itself. So I attempt immediately to ascertain what had happened and ask who just touched Shell, to which the response was clear and precise. Me. Someone had finally come out of the shadows to communicate, and its first act was to make physical contact with one of the team. It would be one of our most epic moments of all time. With a certified question and a solid answer, we keep up the use of the DVR. But what you'll now note is the flashing to the right of me, to my left, the K2. The K2 is now going off. It's being impacted by something. It takes me a few moments to realise just what is happening. The K2 is responding. More proof that someone has finally stepped forward. To boot, I remember that night, and I remember the feeling of something around me. The K2 continues to react and go off. The feelings of people walking by me, watching, waiting continue as our questions continue to roll out. From time to time, we try to sit there and work out if it's any of us or anything we have that may be affecting the K2. But with all our phones either off or on silent, and on airplane mode, there's no reason it should be going off. There's no reason it should be reacting. The night is drawing to a close, and we do get our most famous response. What struck me about the response is how fast it came, and how confident it was. Never before had I experienced any physical contact, nor had any of my team until now. It was a new experience, even though I wasn't the one to feel it. As the night draws to a close, we would get one or two more responses, and a few more bits of activity, occurrences, strange things appearing around us. But unfortunately for us, the weather would move in and cause a problem. With fine rain starting to fall, it would cause an issue for continued recording. So after a while, we would decide to call it quits and pack up. But before we go and end our journey, I would just like to say thank you for joining me on this little trip down Ghostly Lane. And if there's one thing I've really learned from our journey, it's this. I'd really like to go back and do some of our investigations from the early days, to see if we can go back and do it right, and to get more than we did. To prove beyond a shadow of a doubt whether there is or isn't something at these places where we've visited before. It has been a real pleasure to take this journey down Ghostly Lane, and I thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed your time and learned a thing or two about watching our memories, our history, and maybe one day in the future, we'll take this journey again and look back on days gone by. But now it's time to say goodbye and good night. See you out there.
As we reach the end of a series, it seems like an apt subject to cover is cutting ties and spirit detachment. If you feel that someone has an influence over your mind, you can use a crystal to cut that tie and detach yourself from them. If it is a spirit influencing you, spirit release is needed and can also be aided with crystals. Jasper instantly cuts through ties and removes any hitchhikers that may have attached themselves to your aura. It helps dissolve old patterns. They help the aura return to its original form. Nirvana quartz reminds us that the spirit attachment is one situation where informed consent is not mandatory, as the soul rarely chooses to have a spirit attached. Additional stones such as black tourmaline and types of jasper may be needed to seal the aura against re-invasion. Rainbow Mayonite is the finest tool there is for working with the subtle layers of the aura to remove ties and attachments, but it should only be used by an experienced crystal healer. It blends particularly well with plant allies and essences. Gold and silver healers are a gentler version of this powerful stone and more subtle for beginners. Stibnite creates an energetic shield around the physical body. It separates out the pure from the dross and is an efficient tool for releasing spiritual hitchhikers or negative energies. Eliminating tentacles from clingy relationships. It also assists in cutting ties in rituals and past life release. Thank you for watching and learning about crystals. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed making these segments. Love and light.
Hi guys, and welcome to Paranormal Chat. Now, you may remember Rory from a few episodes back. He's done a couple of things for us now, shared some of his ghostly experiences. But he is back today in Paranormal Chat with a fellow team member to talk about their team, Project Entity. So without further ado, here's Rory and Co.
Good evening, guys. Allow us to introduce ourselves. My name's Rory.
And I'm Sam.
And we're part of the team Project Entity. So, where did it all begin? I think that's a good place to start, isn't it, really?
Definitely, yeah.
Well, it's just starting to rain as well.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yes, please excuse us. We're in the middle of a thunderstorm at the moment, so if you hear any rumbles, it's the thunder.
Yeah, we're actually checking out a location at the moment, the Himbley Plantation, which has a lot of historical...
A lot of history with Gideon Grove, the ghost horseman of Wombourne, who got himself involved with the gunpowder plot, so he's an interesting figure, and we're going to try and track him down one day.
Yeah, spot a few things and we can work our investigations around that.
Definitely.
But yeah, as I was saying before I was interrupted by the rain and the thunder, that it all started really with my best friend Stephen. Both of us have a very keen interest in the paranormal. Mine, myself, dates back from childhood, really. Living in two very active houses, experiencing so many things. I won't go into detail fully, but poltergeist activity and all the other type of things that you would see in like a horror film almost.
Oh, yes.
But it's what's made me believe it, really. Stephen the same as well. He's been my best friend ever since probably 1990 actually.
Oh yes,
and
before I was born.
And with Stephen, his interest in the paranormal stems from his mother, who's actually a spiritualist medium, which is pretty cool. But we started the team back in 2015, and with Stephen and myself and two of our other like-minded friends, Matt and Rob, we knew they also had a keen interest in the paranormal. So we got together and really thought about investigating local places, purely with the aim of like documenting what we could find, and going from there, really. Why don't you tell us a bit about yourself, Sam?
I'm the newest member of the group. I joined March last year, and I was the complete opposite of Rory, really. I had no experience of the paranormal. Didn't believe in it, was incredibly sceptical of it. And Rory, in fact, invited me along to one of the investigations. And it just so happened on that night we were at Dell's graveyard, and we just didn't have anything. So I continued my knowledge that it was all, rubbish really, and it didn't happen. It was in fact our second, my second investigation at Graiseley in Wolverhampton, which I know Rory has spoken about previously on one of your videos, when we encountered the grunting ghost
in the bedroom.
In the bedroom, and since then I've been hooked really, and still a little bit sceptical, but really enjoying getting to know the paranormal and getting to experience the paranormal. So I'm just going up and up with it really. So really enjoying it. Yeah.
I agree, and I think with our team, we do tend to take a sceptical approach. I mean, we are believers, but we do like to look for like a rational explanation, like as I'm sure all of you fellow investigators do. I mean, we're really big into science, and we have like a multitude of different beliefs. And that, but we really try to look at the rational, the logical explanations for things really. And I think it helps keep us grounded. Grounded as a team. That's definitely the word I'd say. But as I said, it doesn't mean we're not believers. I mean, the amount of things we've experienced, and as I said, in my houses as a child, really, that activity I've experienced, I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's real paranormal activity. And you sort of compare things to that now. I know I do myself. But was 5 members in our team. The other 3 guys unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. I think with lockdown and everything, it's been really hard.
It's difficult to do at the moment, isn't it? I'm sure, as you understand yourself.
It's been hard to really meet up, hasn't it? Definitely, and freeing up time and that. And I think when it eases, we'll be able to start investigating more.
Yeah, we can't wait really. We're currently looking at some new locations to go and investigate. So we're really brimming with energy to get going on it again, because it seems like it's been such a long time. We just can't wait really.
Definitely. With the other 3 members, we got Matt, who's one of our founding members, and Matt's a really nice guy. He has a real passion for the paranormal, and a lot of respect
love for the traditional gadgets. He loves the pendulum,
dowsing,
dowsing, and he's a great guy, and he's really keen,
enthusiastic,
and he's a great believer really. He's a great person to have on the team for that reason.
He's a great asset.
Definitely.
And for some reason he always seems to be the one who
he always gets the most experience, doesn't he?
He does. He's quite in tune with it. And we have Rob, another guy, extremely enthusiastic. Like myself and Sam, he's really keen on his history, but also Rob, more than anything, he's really keen on theories like stone tape theory, even time slips and stuff. He sort of brings into the equation, and like another factor when we're investigating. And with Stephen, as I said before, with like being a co-founder and that, fantastic bloke. He's sort of like the gadget creator of the
gadget man of the group.
I mean, our flight cases are full of gadgets and gizmos and equipment that Steve's made from scratch, lashing together.
From anything, elastic bands,
glue.
Yeah.
But everything from SLS cameras to even our own REM pods, full spectrum camera conversions. He even created an EMF pump as well, which is quite cool.
Just brilliant.
So lots of really cool ideas, really, to try in the field, and that's kind of what we're about, really. Is finding cold hard evidence and trying different methods, really. Like we have a mixture of traditional and modern methods, the different beliefs we have, and taking a sort of rational and sceptical approach to it. And
the important thing is as well, we keep trying to evolve in our practice and in our gadgets and in our sociality communication as well with other teams. We were quite sort of reclusive as a team, really. We kept ourselves to ourselves, under the radar. And suddenly we're seeing all of the teams which are out there. Like we said, we're really lucky to live in this area because we've got so many fantastic locations, but we're also really lucky because we've got loads of people to work with. There's loads of paranormal investigators around us, and a fantastic depth of knowledge, and it's just great to work with them really, and we're developing those contacts continuously now, which is fantastic.
And it's great. I mean, as you were saying, Sam, the local teams around here are just really fantastic. Lovely people, and it's great to actually share ideas and resources and investigations and locations with. Really, I mean, some of our favourite investigations coming on to that, I think definitely over Shropshire Way, which is neighbouring to us, really, isn't it? I know Sam, you're really fond of Morton Corbett Castle, aren't you?
Morton Corbett Castle, fantastic place, excellent.
Acton Burnell Castle, which is just down the road.
And the Framers Museum in Leicester, which is
even as far as Leicester.
Yeah, we've had fantastic experiences there, including the time when Rory was in fact strangled in the attic.
That was horrendous, wasn't it? My voice actually changed, like the pressure around my throat. But even like the SLS footage we've got from places like that, you can just hear the ominous sounds of thunder above us at the moment if it's not being drowned out by the traffic and that. But no, Dow's Graveyard's another one. I know M&A, Paranormal Detectives, and lots of other local places. Well, local teams. Sorry, I've been to Dow's, and that's a fantastic place. Highly recommend that. Definitely, I mean, I'm sure the vast majority of you have already been there, but we've had some cracking stuff there, and I know lots of other local teams have had some really good stuff from there. I mean, the location we're at now, the plantation, I think we've been once before into like a different part of the forest, hunting things down, and had some fantastic like EVPs and stuff like that.
And we're trying to reach out to new places as well. I know we're brimming to get going, and Rory is continuously looking for those new locations, and we're really looking forward to going to Lillishall Abbey, which is a new place. Rory's been to visit it, but we've never been as a whole team before.
No.
So we're really looking forward to that and getting going, as we've said.
Yeah, I agree. Another one of our favourite places is probably White Ladies Priory, and it's brilliant. That place isn't it? It's absolutely fantastic. We've had some cracking stuff there. Highly recommend that place as well if you're ever in the area. But as we said before, just so lucky with all the local places and that. But yeah, finding cold hard evidence, taking a rational approach, but believing things at the same time. It's great, isn't it? I mean, we're always welcoming of like other teams. If anyone ever wants to come on an investigation with us and see a bit more of what we're about, really, it's really hard to sum it up in a forest in a thunderstorm. To be fair, isn't it? Really, but it's one of them really. But yeah, give us a little tootle. You can find us, I'm sure, and it'd be nice to chat with you about anything paranormal, really.
And thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share some information about us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Big shout out to M&A, really.
Definitely,
fantastic, and looking forward to doing some stuff with you guys. Seem like another really well-rounded team, as I'm sure like everyone that is watching at the moment. But all the best, guys, and stay safe, and hopefully we can get back out there and start investigating real soon. Cheers, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Yay, it's competition time.
We've really enjoyed this series of M&A TV, and to celebrate its success, we have decided to have another competition.
Now, to enter, all you need to do is post a comment on this video of any part of M&A TV you found to be your favourite.
So just comment the segment that you enjoyed the most. So let's take a look at the prizes.
Okay. Third prize. We're doing third prize. Third prize first. This is what you can win for third prize. M&A fridge magnet. Got to be the best prize, I think, really.
Definitely. Worth a fortune. To be highly treasured.
Yeah.
You'd be lucky to get one, because we're running low on our supply now. We've got like one left, I think.
We need to order some more.
So this is highly
sought after. Not many of these around.
If we find that you're selling it on eBay, we won't be happy.
Yeah.
So that's the third place prize. Second place, we have a copy of Russell Philip Masters' book, So You Want to Be a Paranormal Investigator.
And our top prize this week is The Shadow Man of Accrington by Craig Bryant.
So if
Not Chris Bryant, Craig Bryant.
And the reason he says that is because when he introduced Craig on our M&A TV episode that he featured, he said his name wrong.
Yes,
and
I had to retake that.
So, just so you know, just so in case you didn't realise, we have interviewed both Russell and Craig as part of M&A TV, and you can catch up on their interviews if you didn't catch them by checking out the past episodes. I can't remember off the top of my head which episode either are in,
Never can
but I'm pretty sure I did write in the description of the videos for both who was in it. So those are the prizes.
So get commenting, guys.
A week today, so next Wednesday, we will be revealing the winners live on our Facebook page. We'll pick them at random using an online generator. So comment in the video comments your favourite section from M&A TV, whether that be the Crystals with Fran, Cryptid Files, A Walk Down Ghostly Lane,
Or Chris's new one.
Paranormal Chat.
Yeah, Chris's new one on the histories.
Yeah, it's Chris's history
Yeah.
thingy-mabobber. We haven't really decided what that's called. I don't know, maybe Chris has decided what it's called. But there's been lots of good segments that we've really enjoyed putting together. Jodie, what has been your favourite?
Well, I quite like presenting it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found when I've been on my walks when when it wasn't too hot and that I just wandered around and I'd just do the intro while I was walking around with the dog and
Yeah.
but in proper I'm finding Fran's crystals and tarot quite interesting.
Yeah.
I had a tarot reading myself recently with her and yeah. It's quite true, and I'm quite a bit more of a believer than I was now. So,
And for me, I think the Paranormal Chat segment is definitely one of my favourites because it's given us a chance to work with other teams and to get to know other teams a little bit better, and that's been really good. So we've really enjoyed that. I know I can speak for Chris and say that his favourite segment is his own segment, which is the Walk Down Ghostly Lane.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed that as well.
Which takes a look at our past investigations. And I haven't asked Fran, so I'm sure if she's watching now, she'll comment what her favourite one is. And if she wants to enter the competition, she can as well. And you, Jodie, we can all enter.
Yeah.
But we've all got our own fridge magnet.
Yeah.
So don't forget, star prize. Oh, M&A fridge magnet, highly collectible.
Yeah, can't get them anywhere else.
No. So anyway, that's it from us, guys. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of the show.
Hello, and come and take a look with us, the Morrison Anderson Paranormal team, as we just have a venture around the White Lady Priory.
How many of you are here now? Four. Is that you over by the entranceway?
Okay, are the members of your party in the entranceway?
Yes.
Can you ask if it's the swordsman, the protector we're talking to?
Is the guardsman out there?
Yes, I thought it was the man we're talking to.
So are we talking to a man now?
Oh, no, I'm
I
mistaken.
think they were saying he's outside.
The man's outside.
Is that the man's outside protecting you? Is that right?
Yeah, the man's what you can hear out there.
Oh, I might know who this is. Is this the head lady I spoke to before?
Oh. Can you spell out your name for us? B. E. A.
Is your name Beatrice?
I was thinking that. I was thinking that as well.
As soon as B came up, the
Yeah.
word came into my head.
BEA, yeah. As soon as BEA
As soon as
came
the,
up,
no, as soon as the
And
letter
were
B
you
came
the
up.
head nun here?
No, it's probably not there. Right,
Mhm.
it's moving on. Suddenly moving off the board, so we can count that as a no. I think.
It's the lady I spoke to before when she responded.
What was
to
your
me.
role here? What did you do?
It was moving to the H before you asked the question. That might be because that is what she's trying to.
She's over my right shoulder. What was that in response to?
Yeah. Well, you, I assume.
Yeah, she's over my right shoulder.
Yeah.
She's standing behind me.
Were you a nurse?
Were you a healer of some kind? No.
Take that as a no.
Were you
Quick.
just one of the regular sisters? Did you like it here? Could be an F or an E.
Yeah.
Be an
Is
F
that
and an E.
Make
Okay.
that clearer.
Is that an F
Can you
and an
move it onto the letter you were trying to choose?
Is that an F and an E?
Didn't want to answer that question.
I think that's a very
you-
self-explanatory
Did
question,
you
isn't it?
choose to be here?
Yeah.
That's what I was just going to
Is that
ask.
out of fear?
I was going to say, did you come out of here of your own
Yeah.
choice? Did
Yeah.
you come here for your... Maybe she was sent here.
Yeah.
Were you sent here?
I don't think she wants to answer that one either.
It's a very personal question, isn't it?
What did you like doing when you were here? Last time we were here, we kept hearing like churchy sort of kind of music coming through the spirit box, but in long, like in the background as it was scanning really quick.
Much of our questions are very personal. You find it difficult to trust us, don't you, sister?
A, B,
if it does it one more time, could you do something for me and shut down the board?
Maybe she liked writing.
I was going to say either writing or teaching.
Are you a teacher?
Did you teach English? Or languages?
Oh, I'm just going to scratch because I think a mosquito has bitten me on the lower back.
Are we currently sat above your resting place?
It's a firm no.
Ah.
Are there, is this a place where bodies were buried, where we're sat right now? Can you tell us who is buried here? A. G. A.
Agatha.
I was about to say that.
Yes. Did you know her personally? Why are you still here?
Trapped.
V. E.
Vessel.
Is this building your vessel?
Something here is.
Is the shrine that's here, not the shrine at the other side of the wall, but
These stones.
these stones, your vessel? Staying on no, okay.
Is your vessel buried within the grounds?
It's better to ask that.
Now that you're dead, do you still believe in God? G. O. D. God. I. S.
Yes.
God is. A. Let it spell it out. T. God is at. B. I. A. S.
God is biased.
God is at biased. Are you saying that he is biased? Is that because you weren't permitted to go to heaven?
No.
Is it because you're still here now?
Do you think he's keeping you here? Why do you think he's keeping you here?
To protect the grounds.
S. I.
Sins.
What sins did you commit?
You have a relationship with the guard.
N A T G.
No, she's going to spell
Or
naughty.
Naughty.
You had some naughty fun. Is that what you're going to say?
Maybe you had some naughty thoughts.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
Were you involved with one of the other nuns?
Dear, dear.
That wasn't very common back then, was it?
No. Quite a fervent no as well.
Was it Agatha?
Ooh. Ah.
Do you know that in these days it's okay? You know, everything's fine with that. You know, we don't judge you for that.
Yes.
Before we leave you, do you have a message for us? J A S.
Jars?
She may be pointing towards our litter. Take our stuff with us. Don't leave any rubbish.
Are you telling us not to leave our litter here? No.
Are you trying to explain about your vessel?
Do you want somebody to find your vessel? Are you happy here? Do you stay here because you could? This is the only place you can be with Agatha.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think a statement towards Giles is make sure we don't disturb them.
Yeah. Is that what you mean by jars? Don't disturb them.
It's staying on us. How old were you when you died?
Sounded like a puppy crying then.
1.
I
19.
had 19 in the head then.
I did before it
Yeah.
went to it.
Was that relatively young for a nun in those days?
I was just thinking she was young and impressionable to be doing
Was
that. so I was
Agatha
wondering.
older than you?
Oh, interesting question.
Three.
37.
37.
18 years
Wow.
different.
Yeah.
What did you die from? A B T E.
Is it a beating?
Shit.
They beat you to death.
Was that off the head lady for being involved with?
Was it from the local priest that looked after this parish? Was that when they found out about your affair with Agatha?
Get stone on yes. So.
What did Agatha die of? P. E.
Pestilence.
What's that?
It's
It's
basically
kind of a disease where you become so malnourished.
Did they starve her
Sort of rots
Did
from
they,
within.
did they punish her for her affair with you?
by not feeding her? It's staying on yes.
Monsters.
No wonder said she wasn't happy here when she was here.
Are you happy now that everybody else has passed and you're here with Agatha? You can be at peace.
Bless you.
What are the names of the other two people that are here with us? You said there was 4. Who are they? D. A.
David.
Is he one of the gods?
Is he the god that's in the doorway?
I was wondering what his name was.
And the 4th person? B. E. T.
Betty.
Bethany.
Was she one of the nuns as well?
Was she a nurse?
Was she a nurse?
I have a feeling of a nurse around us.
What did she die of?
Old age.
I was thinking age
thinking
when,
old.
as soon as she said, yeah.
Why did she stay here?
Work.
She still hasn't finished her work.
Are you all happy that we're here tonight? Do you speak for yourself or everybody? Do you speak for yourself, go yes?
A. G.
Agatha.
Agatha. Is she happy we're here?
No, she's the one I'm picking up on that isn't that happy we're here.
She doesn't like visitors to this place. C. E. A. S. Cease. Are you telling us you want us to stop? Or Agatha wants us to stop?
Yeah.
Would you like to continue talking to us? Would you like to try some other ways of communicating with us? Okay, we're going to end this Ouija board session now. Thank you for communicating with us. I'm just going to take the planchette to goodbye. There we go. So that was interesting.
Yeah, wasn't it?
It seemed they didn't like talking to Jodie, but that
Well, they
makes a
would,
lot
you
of
know.
sense because they wouldn't have had a lot of the nuns wouldn't have had a lot of dealings with men other than perhaps the head nun would have communed with the parish, the male parish leader, or whatever they're called, priest or.
So basically, the main person killed them both by starving and malnourishing the one and beating the other one to death.
Yeah.
Today, let's have a look at card number 2, the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a female sage, a goddess of knowledge who brings insight, integrity and wisdom. Numbered 2, she symbolises duality and a link between the conscious and unconscious mind. Her open book represents her learning and the pomegranate fruitfulness. The upright meaning. When this card appears in a reading, it can show a personal desire for guidance and knowledge, particularly if you need to make a major decision. Listen to your intuition, yet seek inspiration from older and wiser counsel, male or female. The High Priestess seeks solutions to oppositions, so ask for help rather than allow an inner conflict to persist. Reversed meaning. In the reversed position, upside down, the High Priestess warns against taking bad advice. Someone who you thought is reliable is not sincere, so it is likely you are let down by an authority figure or an older member of your family. You could also be rushed into making a decision without due consequence. Take your time and choose confidence with care. So to round up, the key words for the High Priestess are wisdom, intuition, decisions, authority, and dreams.
Hello and welcome back to my historical adventure. And once again I am actually sat in my office, and I have been doing some more research into our ancient past, to some of the stories I picked up and maybe evidence of early paranormal investigation. Now whilst I haven't actually found a solid event in our past of paranormal investigation, I've picked up an interesting story that I really want to tell you about, because it's really quite exciting for me. But what I'm actually going to call your attention to first is an Egyptian ghost story. It's not actually a complete ghost story, it's part of one. And this is because of Egyptologist Gaston Maspero. So he published a translation of an ancient Egyptian ghost story that he believed to be set in Luxor or ancient Thebes. So he discovered 4 pieces of pottery, and obviously he was translating what was on there, and it tells the story of a ghost of a mummified man who's apparently talking to a high priest of Amun about his current condition. And the excerpt that I actually found, the only bit of it that I actually managed to find, was this: I grew, and I did not see the rays of the sun. I did not breathe the air, but darkness was before me every day, and no one came to find me. So that's all I managed to find. I'm actually reading this off the screen behind, so if you see me peering past the camera, that's because I'm reading stuff on the screen behind it. Maspero believes that he's complaining about something to do with either himself or his tomb, but he's not really sure. He doesn't really know what the subject of the spirit's dissatisfaction is, what his problem is. But I find it awesome that I found an Egyptian ghost story, because obviously they are a deeply spiritual people. They believe strongly in life after death, so much so that they created a series of spells called the Book of the Dead, which is believed to help them reach the afterlife, or it certainly was true for the ancient Egyptians. What exactly the Egyptian belief is nowadays is probably worth a bit of research actually in itself. But the fact that it comes from a spiritual people that are open to the gods, they're open to life and death and what comes after, and they want to live good lives and this, that and the other. So they want to please their gods so that they end up in heaven. So I find it less likely that this would simply be a made-up story. But equally, I suppose equally it could just be something on a piece of pottery from a playwright, maybe somebody who made this play and people enjoyed, so he made record of it on a piece of pottery. Or it could be something from a temple, like a story that one of the priests, something that priests dealt with, and this was something he recorded for whatever reason, for posterity. But I found this fairly interesting. It's just a quick ghost story, especially from Egypt, as we've had stuff from Rome and Greece, Romans and the Greeks. Speaking of which, is my next story. And so it's actually from the writer Plutarch. And he's actually telling the story about a city called Cheironia in Greece. And it was about a boy named Damon. Now, this boy had certainly attracted the attention of a Roman military commander, who apparently loved him. So the records do suggest this, and the fact that Damon actually refused his advances, and this obviously infuriated the Roman commander. And Damon was terrified. At this point, he'd be very, very, very afraid of what the commander would do if he just sat there and did nothing. So apparently Damon got together some friends and ambushed the Roman military commander, killing him and several of his men. Obviously, the city council of Cheironia found out, condemned Damon and his friends to death, but Damon somehow managed to escape it and had the councillors killed. And he and his remaining friends then took to the countryside, plundering it. After a while, though, Damon was allowed to return to the town, where shortly after he was killed in the local bathhouse. Local justice. Lynch mob. So, there's actually a little piece from Plutarch himself, and he says, "And because, for a long while thereafter, certain phantoms appeared in the place, and groans were heard there. As our fathers tell us, the door to the vapour bath was walled up, and to this present time, the neighbours think it the source of alarming sights and sounds." Sounds fairly ghosty to me, but then again, like last time we heard of the Shannon, who was, I forget her surname, she was a historian and said that the Romans / Greeks, they were prone to exaggeration. So they would tend to sort of dramatise it and make it less believable, more, impossible to believe, because the way they tell it, the way they really sort they're flamboyant with their details and whatnot. So because obviously they would have this tendency to do this, obviously because they had plays to make and people to entertain. So it's difficult for us to believe them whether they're actually telling the truth or whether this was actually just something they made up to entertain people. It's one of those, but it's an interesting tale that I found. But here is to the point of my video today. So obviously I'm looking for examples of like-minded people that are looking to find the truth about spirits and the paranormal. I stumbled across the story of the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall, which is an early 17th century hall. Now, it's about a lady called Lady Dorothy. Now, it was Lady Dorothy Walpole, who was the sister of Robert Walpole, who was supposed to have been believed to be the first Prime Minister. Now, she was the second wife of Lord Charles Townshend, I think that's pronounced, and he was a wife to the second Viscount of the estate, Lord Charles Townshend, but she died in 1726, supposedly of smallpox. But the story's generalisation says that she died in 1726, supposedly of smallpox, after having an affair which her husband, the Lord Townshend, had learned about before her death. She is said to still wander the manor dressed in brown. Finding that paragraph exceptionally interesting, I decided to keep digging. So, where did I go? First, off to Wikipedia. Now, Wikipedia's submission on this is extensive, but I'm not going to go through it all because it will take a lifetime. So, there are two ways I can discern that she's died from the submission on Wikipedia. Check it out yourselves. But what it actually says is that the Lord Townshend was infamous for his violent temper. Hello. That's interesting. So, he found out about her affair with a Lord Wharton, and he punished her by locking her in her rooms, apparently, in the family home at Raynham Hall. But another side to it, apparently, is, according to a Mary Wortley Montagu, Dorothy was in fact entrapped by the Countess of Wharton, who invited Dorothy over to stay at hers for a few days, knowing that her husband would never allow her to leave. And she was trapped there until she died of smallpox, apparently. Which I personally find hard to believe that they would allow the lady to stay there given that she had smallpox. I find that difficult to believe. So, but they're the tales that the Wikipedia gives you, which to me sound like something else kind of went on, and that there's a story that's been played out here. So make what you will of that, but something screams at me that something else happened now, especially if he's infamous for his violent temper. But we'll move across to the sightings, apparently, in history of the Brown Lady. And the first is told by a Lucia C. Stone, and it regards Raynham Hall at Christmas in 1835, where the Lord Charles Townshend invited various guests, including a Colonel Loftus. Now, on the night of the festivities, the Colonel is said to have seen the Brown Lady as he and his companion Hawkins approached their bedrooms, and they saw this apparition in a dated brown dress when they were going to go to bed. But Loftus also claims that he saw the Brown Lady once again the next morning, and the spectre glowing, but her eye sockets empty and dark. Interesting. So the next sighting is claimed to have been from a Captain Frederick Marryat, who was a friend to famous novelist Charles Dickens. Marryat actually wrote his own books. I've yet to sort of look at what books he actually wrote. But what I find interesting about this is actually it's not him that tells the story, it's his daughter, Florence Marryat, who told of her father's experience in 1891. That her father is basically that I'll call him Freddie for quickness. That Freddie believed that it wasn't a ghost, that it was actually local smugglers that were anxious to keep people away from the area and away from their activities. So Freddie actually requested to stay there, and he stayed there for a total of 3 nights, and each night keeping a pistol with him underneath his pillow, which I find amazing. He actually was armed the entire time. Bear that in mind. He's actually got a gun present at the entire time. And it basically is the daughter telling somebody. There's obviously she's written or speaking to somebody and it's been written down, but the daughter is giving the account of her father's experience. And right from the get-go, he takes the room and there's a portrait of supposedly the brown lady hanging up in his room. And Freddie is trying to retire for the night, so he's getting undressed. And he's in his shirt and trousers when there's a knock at the door. And it's the nephews of the baronet who are telling him about this new gun that's come from London, that he has to come see it. Now, bearing in mind that he's only in his shirt and trousers, he does decide to accompany them, but he's acutely aware that he's only in his shirt and trousers in this estate, in somebody else's home. So he walks off down this narrow corridor with rooms down the corridor facing each other, double doors, but there's no lighting. It's dark. All the lights have been extinguished. And he's going with these young men down the corridor when they are confronted by the glimmer of a lamplight coming towards them. And obviously one of them says it's one of the ladies going to visit the nurseries. So, having been told this, Freddie decides that it's proper for him to get out of the way since he's not properly dressed. And he ducks into one of the rooms. But he's looking through the crook of the door at this lady, waiting for her to go past. As she draws nearer and nearer and nearer, the light is starting to give him the impression that this woman is the facsimile of the portrait that is hanging in his room. This is the brown lady that he's facing. And he's waiting for her to go past. He's watching her get nearer and nearer. But she stops. Now, Freddie has his gun in hand and his finger on the trigger. Okay? He's got his revolver in hand. He's got his finger on the trigger of this gun. Now, at this point, Freddie's about to demand it to stop and ask it what it's doing here. When this woman, and her face now lit by the lamp, is looking directly at Freddie with a malicious and diabolical expression on her face. Now, to put things fairly clearly, I know most of you will probably know, but for those of you who don't, there was a certain code of behaviour expected of ladies in those times, okay? So, for a lady to look at a man this way, it would irritate a lot of them. It would really like, why are you looking at me like that? And he was actually apparently supposed to be very angry, so much so that the captain, he leapt out of the room
pointed the gun at this apparition's face and discharged his revolver, with a bullet passing through where her head would have been and into the wooden door behind. But the apparition had just disappeared. Like that. Right before him as he shot. So... The fact that he actually... What I find fascinating, I'm trying to describe it properly. The fact that he actually said, no, this isn't a ghost, and I will actually stay there. I'm going there. I'm going to go spend 3 nights there, and I'm going to prove to you that there is no ghost. I will take my gun, and I will shoot the smugglers, which I believe it to be, on sight. Now, take away the gun and the shooting and the killing, and that sounds like a scientist to me. He's a writer of books. He was a captain, so he's written his books. He's a friend of Charles Dickens. I am bearing that in mind as I tell this story. But the fact that he's actually turned around with his own theory and he's gone to prove it. Now that's a scientist to me. And he's actually stayed there during the night to see what would happen, to see if he would encounter this lady. And he had no belief of this ghost until he confronted it, and it disappeared at the end of his gun whilst firing it. Interesting stuff for me. I found this story particularly fascinating. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. Put it in YouTube. Put it in Google. Okay, Google. You can put it in YouTube if you want, see if anything comes up. But read it. Go onto Wikipedia and read it. It's a fascinating story. It will make you ask some questions as to how did she actually die? Because those stories don't sit with me. They don't sit at all with me. Those stories of how she died. And then to have this account of the captain, I think there are actually more. Sightings of the sightings and whatnot. I think there might be. I'm not sure, but go and have a look and see what you think, because I find that story absolutely fascinating. I think it's brilliant. Yeah, that's all I have time for today. I've waffled on for quite enough. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed these little interesting ghost stories from the ancient past and the possibilities that people really did try and find out what's going on. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hello there guys, and welcome to Mary's Paranormal Adventures. Today we're going to be doing, basically using this, homemade by Shell. Can do a bit of spirit drawing, see whether Mary can draw us something. We're also going to be broadcasting this live to ESN Paranormal's page. So make sure you give them a like and subscribe to them. And
hello everyone, and we are here today to do a little bit of a paranormal investigation with our haunted doll Mary. She's over here. There's Jodie and just myself, and we're going to do a little bit of I don't know what you want to call it, spirit writing or spirit drawing. Basically I've got this handmade planchette that I've made. It's just basically made out of cardboard with marbles on the bottom to make it raised, and to also because they're shiny, so they'll hopefully move around the page a little bit more. And we've stuck some paper down on the table with sellotape just to make sure it stays in place. And we're going to see if she will come and communicate with us via this method and maybe draw us something or write us something. So
nothing rude, Mary, nothing rude.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. I probably not going to be able to get myself in the picture, so we will just have Jodie in view, Hi, John.
You all right?
I'll try and keep an eye on the comments as well, but I may miss any. So we'll just give this a little short go and see what happens. So let's go.
Okay, Mary, we invite you to come and help us. Help us today. You're going to come and use this device on the table to talk to us and to maybe draw something for us.
Yeah, write a message. Just for now though, just move the planchette just to let us know that you're with us now. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but it is moving ever so slightly. So Mary, could you maybe... What we're going to ask you to do is I'm going to ask you to move the planchette towards me for a yes and away from me, so towards your doll, towards your vessel, for a no for these questions we're going to ask you now. So the first question I'm going to ask is...
Are you here? Are you able to communicate with us today?
Oh, it's gone very still.
I can't, Mary. We've got a nice thunderstorm coming overhead. Come and use the energy from that to come and talk to us.
Thank you. Do you like the thunder, Mary? Okay, move towards me for yes. Would you be able to write us something with the planchette?
Don't worry if you're just having a bit of a play about. It's absolutely fine, Mary.
If you think of a question, John, that you'd like us to ask Mary, just let us know.
You might just be getting a feel for the table, guys.
I might be trying to draw us a nice little picture.
Yeah.
So from the last communication we had with Mary, she said she was 8 years old. So 8-year-olds tend to like to draw and things.
Yeah.
Mary, can I just confirm, are you 8 years old? Yes. Are you French?
That's moving pretty quick. Yeah.
I think she was playing with us the other day when she said she was French, you know. I don't think she is French.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's like weird how it spins, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, John's just put a comment on that says it's moving pretty quick.
It is moving pretty quick. It was quite quick when we did the Ouija session, to be fair. Yeah. So, if you're not French, are you from England?
Okay, because it's just twizzling around like that, just, and now it's coming back around this way. Come on, Mary, don't play with us. And I just want you to answer the question nicely, if that's okay.
So, are you from England? Towards me for yes, away from me for no. It's just going, it's sort of...
The planchette is going like that.
yeah, it's sort of moving round and then stopping and then coming back the other way.
Maybe she's pointing it at you to say yes.
John asks, are you from Scotland, Mary? I'd say that's a no.
No.
So you're from England.
So she's English.
I just got a feeling the other day after we did the Ouija board session with us, and she said she was French. When I watched the video back, I was like, I think she was playing with us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because basically she just answered yes to the first country I said. I could have said anywhere.
Yeah.
Do you think it's funny to play with us, Mary? Yeah. It's moving
Just
ever
moved,
so
just
slightly.
ever so much. Just moved ever so, just a little bit that way. So, and forgive me, guys. I'm going to sneeze, and it's not coronavirus. Don't worry.
It's probably because of the rain. The pollen's probably starting to fly everywhere. It's thunder and lightning here currently. John, I don't know what the weather's like at where you are.
Did you pass naturally?
John asks, did you pass of natural causes? Did you die of like an illness? Remember, towards me for yes.
It's really sunny over there.
Away from me for no.
I don't know if you can hear in the background,
it's
John.
moved ever so slightly towards me.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear in the background, but it's
For
can you hear
yes.
the the thunder in the background.
So did you die of an illness? Yes. Did you die in this century? Let's say no, which counteracts what we got on the Ouija board the other day.
It does, doesn't it?
She said she died during the Second World War. Oh my God, are we in a different century now?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a different century now.
So you did die during the war then?
Did you die during the Second World War?
Yeah. So it was a different century. I'm sorry for Shell's lack of knowledge there. But we're 20 years into this century. I don't know.
I think yeah. You can probably hear kids in the background. That's next door's kids. And you can hear birds.
Mm-hmm.
There are birds outside, but every now and again we get a big rumble of thunder.
Yeah.
We haven't had much lightning though. I love a good storm, I do personally, but
so do I. Yeah, it's all
so you're from England then. You died during the war of an illness. Last time you told us that you had 4 siblings, brothers and sisters. Is that true? Remember, move it away from me for no, towards me for yes. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. It's just rocking backwards and forwards. Well, not backwards and forwards, side to side at the
Come on,
moment.
we want you to tell the truth, so... Can you tell the truth for us?
So tell us, how many did you have? 4 siblings. Did you have more than 4? It's
just rocking again. It's like
side to
just doing
side.
that.
Would you like to draw us a picture? Towards me for yes, away from me for no. Yes. Would you like us to use a different colour? No. So you can draw us a picture now. Go for it.
Just drawn us a box so far.
Is that a cup? It's like drawing a cup, a square with like a rounded handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a cup.
Yeah.
Did you like to drink tea, Mary? Yes. Did you used to play with your dolls and a little tea set? Yeah.
Come here, I'm just going to put you back into the middle, if that's okay.
Okay.
Just because you're right on the edge of the table.
So, what else can you draw? You've drawn us a cup. Can you draw something else?
Got quite a bit of power in them areas today, to be fair.
Yeah, after the Ouija board session we did the other day, it took a lot of her energy out of her, and she was really quiet for a week or 2.
Yeah.
But the last few days she seems to have been a bit more active again.
She's been tapping the wall at Chris and stuff like that.
Oh, it's hit the edge of the paper. Trying to find out.
Sorry, Mary.
So we didn't have any large sheets, so we had to stick 2 A4s together. I can't see what it is, so we had a very curly little line at the beginning, and then it's a big long line, and now she appears to be drawing something on the end of the line, but I can't actually see what it is, so I have to move the planchette off and she's finished. When you're finished, Mary, just stop, move the planchette to the middle of the paper.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look. I'm going to just take the planchette off. So she's drawn a curly whirly line here, and then it carries on all the way up here.
His face. Yeah. Little hammer. Nose. Eye.
Oh, see, from your angle it looks a bit like a face.
Yeah.
From my angle it just doesn't look like anything. Let's ask her. Have you drawn us a face, Mary? Yes. Is it a picture of you?
Is it a picture of your father?
Is it a picture of somebody in your family?
Your grandfather? Uncle? Stepbrother?
You're just thinking of every possible relation that's male.
Cousin?
Is it a picture of your mum?
No offence, it looks more like a bloke.
Oh,
Sorry, Mary.
it's probably difficult when you can't lift the pen off the
Yeah.
paper to move. Can you spell out your mum's name for us? Or at least write the letter of her first initial? I think I just wrote a P.
P or an R?
A P or an R. Is
Yeah.
it a P?
Is it an R? Rachel.
So it looks like an R for Rachel apparently.
What did she say her mum was before?
Some weird
Yeah.
letters that didn't even
Yeah.
make a name.
Mm.
Any final questions before we give this
Yeah, that's a definite yes. Yeah. It's a definite yes.
It's absolutely hammering down with rain now. I don't know if you can hear it. I'll give you a little view. Not very nice.
Lovely weather here. Lovely.
So, just before we go then, do you promise that the next time we use a Ouija board with you, that you're not going to tell us any lies and that you're just going to tell us the truth? No.
So I can take it we've got a little troublemaker here.
A little mischief.
Yeah. Little mischief maker.
Will you try and tell us the truth? Are there some things that you just can't tell us?
You still there, Mary? You're going to tell us the truth from now on? Like a typical 8-year-old little troublemaker. Yeah, we will, John. Don't worry, we will do.
Right, we're going to end the live session, and then anything else we get today will be up on M&A TV, which will be coming tomorrow. So make sure you watch that. It's the final episode this week of M&A TV, tomorrow at 8 PM. So see you there. Thanks, John. See you later.
See you later. See you guys. Okay, Mary, we're gonna stop now. So we want you to go back to your vessel, and we will call upon you when we need you again.
Okay.
Okay.
There you go.
Yeah, if you look at it from my point of view, it does look like.
It does look a bit like a face. I'll take a photo of it and.
Yeah, because it's like over the course of the evening, over the course of the time, she's actually drawn a face.
Yeah, it does look like an eye actually.
Yeah, that's it there.
Yeah.
Right, so that pretty much sums it up for Mary's paranormal adventures for today. Oh, lovely crack of thunder there.
It is supposed to heighten paranormal activity,
Yeah, so maybe what we've got there is
the results. Yeah.
Yeah, so
What we'll do is we'll take a photo of this now and we'll pop it up at the end of this video so you can see what it actually looks like from our angles.
yeah,
So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you soon.
yeah. Thanks for watching.
Okay, everybody, thanks for watching and taking the time to view this final episode of M&A TV.
But before we go, guys, here's a message from the main man himself, the boss, Chris.
Bye.
See you later.
Hello there. Well, this is it. But just before we end this wonderful journey of ours, would just like to say thank you. Thank you to everybody who watched and supported with the likes and the shares. And thank you to everyone who participated as well. People who were a part of our videos, who gave their stories and their time. Thank you so much for everything you've done. I'd like to pay a special thank you as well to Shell, because she took an idea of mine, changed it around and turned it into something incredible. And I've really enjoyed this journey of ours, these different episodes of M&A TV. I dare say it will return. We will bring M&A TV back as maybe a more solid and regular thing, but that's down to the future and what happens. But for now, I'd like to say thank you to you all for your time and your patience and all that you've given. It means so much to us. And I don't think we could have got this far without you. We really couldn't. And now it's time to go back to our investigating. We already have some plans on the plate, things we want to do. So we're going to start getting back to that now and getting those plans underway and everything sorted out and continuing on into the future for M&A Paranormal. It's been a long old road, and I think I still feel the same way in that I would like, maybe now that we have Fran, I'd like to go back and maybe do some of the investigations of old again and see what we get with the techniques we have now. So yeah, we'll see you guys out there. Thank you so much for watching all of our videos. Thank you for supporting us and being a part of this. Continue to stay safe, and we'll see you out there. Bye bye.